A friend of mine was a police officer in Los Angeles. He was head of the gang division in Bellflower, and an attorney, and at one point a bodybuilder. Nice guy, and as hard as nails as you could get, because he ran the gang division. So he said to me, and we're going to do this together, he said, David, the biggest source of injuries for police officers, for all law enforcement officers, is the flashbang. You know, those flashes they throw into the room and they explode with a big burst of light. And he said, the problem is on the second floor, they climb trees and fences and they've got to get enough leverage to throw it, and they fall. Because it has to get through a window, what have you. It is the #1 injury for law enforcement. So he invented what's called a bang pole. Telescoping pole, 16 feet. Put the canister on the top, you whack it, you have all that extra force on the end like a golf club. It slams through the glass with tremendous force. The thing goes in there, explodes, no injuries. He could not sell them. Every law enforcement agency in the country, from the feds, SWAT teams, every CI, everyone loved it. He couldn't sell a one. Does anyone have any idea why he couldn't sell them? Nope. It's telescoped into nothing. Nope. Everyone loved it. Everyone said this will cut down on injuries and our people being out sick and hurt, and it's the best thing we've ever seen. Budget. Every single budget was tapped. It was absolutely maxed out. And this is a capital investment of equipment. Solutions, people. How do you sell something to someone who doesn't have the budget to buy it, yet wants it so desperately? Let's dissect this together. I don't need to tell you what I did. I need you to tell me what you're going to do. Give it away. What's your margin on that versus supplies? Here's the thing. You might go into a hospital and you want to sell some equipment, and they may have a budget, or a police department. But Raymond, you've been in an operating room. Is there a budget for supplies? Do you run out of sutures and say, oh, well, that's it. The budget's gone for sutures. I can't sew this person up. Next. There's no limit on supplies, right? You use them. And it's either reimbursement or it's expensed out. Supplies are very different than equipment. Is there anyone here who doesn't know that? You all know that, but you're not thinking in those terms. I want you to start thinking this way. So I can't sell the equipment. I'm going to make continuous residual income on an ongoing use of the supplies. I'm sorry, right, exactly. You know, it got to a point where you could buy inkjet printers for $9.95 at Staples one time because the cartridges were so expensive. That's where they make their money. Or laser toner. So, you know, razor blades and razors. They'll give you the razor when you buy the 3 blades because they want you to keep buying the blades. So give away the bang poles when you buy the canisters, okay? Give me a problem with that. That's exactly what he did. He said, buy a case of flashbang canisters and you get a bang pole. So now fast forward. It's a year later and every single police department has bought a case of cartridges and they have the bang pole. Yeah?
You got to make the canister only fit in your pet.
There you go. If you look at it and step back and say, wait a minute, where am I making my money? I have a loss leader on the bang pole. And by the way, the shipping and handling on the box of canisters they had to buy covered the cost of the bang pole. So that was sort of like the Ginsu knife and only, you know, $18.95 shipping and handling, you know, which covers their media costs and everything else. So why couldn't they just take the bang pole and use any canister? Right. So I said to him, I said, make a special mount and go to a canister company who will make canisters with that exact mount. So you're all deciding to do that, and there are 6 canister companies out there. Which one do you go to? No. Why? Why all? Let's look at the longer range. What do you want to be? I want to dominate the world.
You go to the small guy.
Or the second number 2, right? Why do you not go to number 1?
They're smarter than you.
They're smarter than you. They have an emotional attachment. They have cognitive bias. You can't teach them anything. What does number 2 and number 3 want more than anything? There you go. So you go to them and you say, what? Make me these canisters. What else do you say to them? Again, We are futurists. We are looking into long range. What do you want to do? You want to dominate the world in this area. So what's your long-term game plan? To own it all. So do you go to the manufacturer and say, I want you to manufacture flash grenades with this mount only? What else do you say? That does what? Well, eventually I do, but right now they're buying from everyone. So I go to your manufacturing facility, and you're number 3, and you're producing, I'm just going to say this, 1 million flashbangs a year, and I want you to start manufacturing for me with this special mount. And you say, well, yeah, I'd love the business. What do I say? However, what's next? What do I say next? What do I know? First of all, let's back up. What do I know? I know that I'm getting a bang pole into every single police department. I know I can do that because I'm giving them away. Is that right? So now all I have to do is look at how many flashbangs are used nationwide in the places who are going to have my bang pole. Is there any question that they are or not going to use the bang pole? None. They're not going to have someone climb a tree or a fence. They can go whack, they're in. They love this thing. I know they're going to use it. So how many flashbangs are they going to use a year? Let's say they use, I don't know, 1 million. And there's 10 million that are out there every year. But the more companies who get this bang pole, the more it's going to grow. And the demand for my grenades is going to be higher. Everybody get that? So what am I saying to the grenade company? No, yeah, you can be number 1 instantly. I want to buy you. I want to buy you at your current valuation, excluding what I have you make, because that's a false valuation, because I can pull that business. So what are you valued at right now? Another reason you don't go to number 1 or 2, you go to 3 or 4 and look at capacity. Now, I want the option to buy you out, and if I do it within this time period, I pay this. And if you grow in the meantime, I pay that, and I'll give you a bonus based on that. I make you an offer you can't refuse. You're going to take the offer, or do I go to your competition? You take the offer, right? So I build him up, and I'm making a lot of money, and I come to him and I say, hey, Richie, okay, I want to exercise my option. Now, what's the result on the other grenade manufacturers as I grow? There you go. They go down. They have a certain baseline that they need to stay profitable, don't they? They make 1 million grenades a year, and they've got to make 400,000 to break even, 500,000 to break even. A fair assumption? Because that covers their nut. Everything after that is profit. So what have I eaten away at? All their profit, all their extra money. And they're down to break even at 500,000. So I go into Wayne's manufacturing facility, and I know I've hurt his business, and he knows I've hurt his business, and he's down to breaking even. And where's he going to be a year from now? Less employees, less machines, less overhead, going down. So I say, Wayne, I want to buy you out. Am I going to pay a high multiple here? No. He wants out of pain. Right. So what happens is you end up buying out all the competitors for pennies on the dollar. You consolidate all the equipment under one roof, one place, or strategic distribution points, depending, for shipping. And who owns the market? Now my friend has dominated the world. And this is exactly what he did. And then sold the company. And then unfortunately died of a brain tumor 2 years later. I'm sorry?
Why did he have to buy the other ones?
He had to buy the other ones for the simple reason that the volume was way greater than Richie could do. He needed the other machinery, the capacity, because he was taking over the whole industry. So he had to buy them. But they were in a position where they couldn't negotiate because they were going out of business, and he would have just bought them in bankruptcy. So he gave them a good deal where they could get out, cleanly, because he was a very high integrity guy. So what I want to do is dissect that for a second and look at it. Look at what his vision was. Look at where he was going. Look at what his plan. Some things are obvious, like, hey, make it with a special mount. I get that. That's an obvious thing to some people, but not to others. It's obvious when you start questioning, how can I be unique? How can I be different? Where am I going? What am I going to do when I get there? How am I going to get there? Am I going to hurt people? Am I going to be fair to people? I live in a world of questions. My brain is constantly working with questions. Because the more questions I ask and I answer honestly, the more I learn and grow. See, what's interesting about your knowledge base is, on one hand, it's your greatest detriment. It's your worst attribute because it limits you. On the other hand, if you start questioning your knowledge base and seriously questioning it and put it on trial, it can become your greatest asset because you will allow yourself to see where the holes are, where you need help, where you don't have the answers. And you'll admit that to whom? To yourself.